Let me begin today's episode by asking you a question. Have you ever wondered why should examiners ask you about the 1947 Kashmir airlift in staff college entrance exams? It's not because it's a historical footnote, but because it tests something deeper. Can you think like a future commander? Can you link political intent to military action? Do you understand operational timing, jointness, and strategic foresight? These are traits they are looking for: clarity under pressure, integration of military logic, and anticipation of hybrid threats. In this episode, we will cover the Indian troop airlift into Srinagar, how surprise and operational arts were displayed, and why this one event still shapes India's frontier security posture from Saichen to Galwan. We begin with the hard question and then connect the dots. Our question number one is, what if India delayed the airlift? Had India waited even 48 more hours, the consequences would have been grave. The tribal raiders would have likely captured Srinagar and its airstrip, cutting off all reinforcements. Maharaja Hari Singh might have lost control or been forced to flee. This would have created a power vacuum, allowing Pakistan to claim control and international legitimacy. The newly independent Indian state would have suffered psychological blow, and the UN or British mediation may have tilted in Pakistan's favor. Timing was everything. We have a Telegram channel also. We'll post these slides in that channel. Please follow that. The link to episode 12, I will put it in the description. Please go through the episode first and then try and understand what we want to tell you in the form of questions and answers. Next, move on to the next question. Why the 27th October 1947 airlift was pivotal? This was India's first air-land integrated operation. It was executed with urgency and precision, just a day after the Instrument of Accession. By securing the Srinagar airfield, India created a lifeline for continuous reinforcement. It halted atrocities by tribal raiders and stabilized a collapsing front. Most importantly, it set the template for future rapid deployments, civil military synergy in real time. Let's try and correlate the events of 1947 with how did it influence the strategic thinking over a period of time. The airlift changed how India thought about mountain warfare. It highlighted the importance of airlift and rapid deployment in hard terrain. Later, this shaped the deployment of advanced landing grounds in Ladakh as well as in Northeast. It also showed the need for real-time political military fusion. Hybrid threats, irregulars backed by states, entered doctrinal thinking. Psychologically, it told the world India would act fast to protect its territorial integrity. Let's now talk about surprise and deception in the airlift. Pakistan never anticipated India's ability to fly troops from Saftarjung airfield to a semi-functional strip in the war zone. The valley was seen as geographically isolated, easy to overrun. But India kept the plan secret until the very last moment. The surprise wasn't deception in the classic sense, it was operational denial. Denying the enemy foreknowledge, exploiting their overconfidence, and delivering force at the moment of maximum doubt. Since operational art is also part of the syllabus, let's talk about the operational art which was on display in this action of airlift. This airlift demonstrated textbook operational art, strategic intent, that is, protecting Kashmir, was translated into tactical action, airborne induction. Political and military decisions were fused without delay. It was not just a mission, it was synchronized with securing a vital node, the Srinagar airstrip. This was multi-level integration, strategic, operational, and tactical. It showed what operational art truly means: achieving national objectives through precise employment of force in time and space. Those of you who have not seen the episode in our playlist named Operation Art are advised to go through the first episode where we have explained what is operational, how does it connect strategy with tactics. Now let's quickly run over lessons from the 1947 Kashmir airlift and what are the implications of those lessons on India's security today. In 1947, Dakotas landed troops under fire. Today, India relies on C-17s, Chinooks, and C-130Js to support high-altitude deployment in Ladakh, Sichuan, and Arunachal. ALGs like Neoma and Daulata Beg Oldie mirror what Srinagar was then. Critical lifelines. This shows the continued value of air mobility in land warfare, what we call Airland Battle. The doctrine remains alive. Civil military fusion. Civil military fusion enables speed. The political leadership and military command acted swiftly and in sync. There were no delays, no procedural paralysis. That model was mirrored in Galwan in 2020, where military and political decisions moved as one. Today's commanders must understand without civil military fusion, timing is lost. And in mountain warfare, time is the highest currency. Legal authority supports action. The Instrument of Accession gave India the legal right to send troops. The very next morning, the airlift happened. No delay, no ambiguity. This clarity of legal and constitutional authority is critical, seen again when Article 370 was revoked in 2019. Military operations without legal legitimacy invite strategic risks. Law must lead action. There is a requirement to revisit the confidence building measures and protocols with the Chinese along the LAC and see the legal authority which will support our actions, terming it as legitimate. ISR and decision support. In 1947, India lacked real-time intelligence. The raiders reached Baramulla before we responded. Today, we have heroin drones, satellites, and SIGINT tools. But ISR is not just about gathering, it's about deciding. Speed of insight must match speed of action. Tactical commanders must convert surveillance into decisions. Surprise and mobility is equal to operational advantage. The airlift was a shock. Pakistan did not expect India to act that fast, that decisively. Even today, speed, secrecy, and flexible mobility remain key to deterrence. Surprise is no longer about hiding, it's about acting before the enemy finishes thinking, and that requires readiness and not rhetorics. Narrative control is strategic. Pakistan spread the narrative that the invasion was internal. India's response came late. In 2023 and beyond, the information domain is the new front. If we do not lead the story, others will tell. Today's war fighter must shape the message, not just fire the missile. Narrative warfare is strategic warfare. We have covered an episode on Ops Sindoor, how India won the war and lost the control. I'll put the link in the description. You are requested to have a look. In the end, I will give you few keywords which we have covered in this episode. Let's recap the doctrinal term for this operation. Airland Battle, air power shaping ground force outcomes. Military civil fusion, rapid political military integration. Hybrid warfare, where irregulars are used for strategic ends. Grey zone operations, these are below threshold coercive tactics. Again, we have done a detailed episode on grey zone operation, which is in the playlist named Current Affairs. ISR, eyes in the sky, converted into action. As you are aware, it is intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Narrative warfare, shaping global perception as part of combat power. The airlift wasn't just a military movement, it was independent India's first test of decision and resolve. In that airlift was everything we study today: law preceding action, speed as deterrence, fusion of military and civilian leadership, and fight for perception alongside the fight for territory. These lessons aren't just history, they are your answers across multiple themes: surprise and deception, legal military alignment, civil military decision making, hybrid warfare tactics, rapid deployment doctrine, ISR and tactical decisions, information operations, and narrative control. If you have absorbed these connections, you are not just prepared for one exam, you are preparing for a command role. Because ultimately, we study military operations to understand two things: what was done right and what could have been done more appropriately. The Kashmir airlift teaches both. With this, I come to the end of today's episode. You're requested to please like, share, and comment. Do give us a feedback on this format so that we can continue or modify our approach. All the best. The time is limited. Get cracking and keep working hard. Jai Hind.